Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. This is book 4, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. Chapter 33, Blood on the Dance Floor.
Woohoo!
And we are going to get started with this in just a couple of moments. We'll do a recap and we'll get the game going. But first, a couple of announcements. First off, let's talk domain tomes, since I know I owe you a domain tome here. Thank you, Ashenworks, for that resub. The way this works is subscriptions, resubs, gift subs, all that kind of stuff earns domain tomes for the players. As you can see up above Jordan's head there,
The timing.
they can
That
be
was amazing.
used for things like re-rolls, gaining advantage, making me re-roll. All those things can be done with domain tomes, but only because of your support. You can also tip $5. You can do a Ko-fi tip or subscription. All that good stuff, bits, all ties in to earn domain tomes for the players. Be sure to check out our channel sponsors, starting with Talon and Claw. You can type !MTD Claw in the chat anytime, or it'll pop up periodically there. Check out the link. See what Anthony's got going on in the Talon and Claw store. Always doing cool brand partnerships with artists, with dice vaults and trays and laser engraved things. Lots of cool stuff going on there. 3D printed stuff. Use code MTDClaw at checkout to get 10% off of your order. We also would direct you to our friend Keel over at Run Right Play! !RWP. You can check out Keel's Patreon. Keel has an amazing community of collaboration and creativity going on over there. And he's just one of the best human beings on the planet. So check out what's going on over there. Let's see what else. Jordan, I believe you have something.
Hi, everybody. So next week's my birthday.
Are you turning 22?
Close?
Kidding. You never asked a lady her age, but Jordan's the baby. So.
I'm Bevy. I'm gonna be doing a fun stream on the 25th, which is my actual birthday. However, on February 26th, we'll be doing a mini charity stream. So that Saturday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Duval will be running a one shot for myself and fellow birthday person Crucian as we raise money for Color of Change, and then we'll be playing Dead by Daylight later. So come on by. We're getting some giveaways and stuff together, and everything will be able to impact the game. Duval is putting us at level 15, so this is gonna be fine. So stay tuned for my Twitter. I'll be posting more information about it tomorrow. And then stay tuned too, because in March I will be doing another charity stream. So keep your eyes out. Thank you, Jake.
Gary, I believe you have something.
Yeah, so very excited. Starting tomorrow, we are going to be posting about a new show that I am creative directing called Dreadful Tales. All I will say is that it's set in Ravenloft. There's 2 DMs, 10 players, and 2 parallel finales. So stay tuned to our Twitter and figure out how that shit's going to work, because it is going to be wild. Starting February 22nd, which is next Tuesday, on Talon and Claw.
Woohoo!
Fantastic. Wow. Since everybody's doing announcements, Cari, I think you've got something you want to announce.
You should not have put me last. This is ridiculous. I am pretty excited. So we have our last session of Mythos Investigators coming up in March. I think March 9th is what we're leaning towards right now on Big Bearded Nerd. But we are now moving that show back here to Mini Terrain Domain in April. And I will be running a game for the first. I have literally never run a game of anything. So it's going to be a time. And I think I've had some pretty good mentors, and we will see. And I'm really excited about it. And as I prep more, I'm feeling ready, and it's going to be great.
The only thing better than getting to play with or help new players in a new game or new system is being a part of when a new GM starts something. So I'm very excited for you, Cari. I'm very excited to be one of the players in that. And you have the advantage. You've been playing with this group for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
In our
Agreed.
Mythos Tales.
I feel like I know what they're going to do. And I've actually run a little bit of it by Gary and Jordan here, and they have given their nod of approval. So
yeah, and we know that you've been relying on the most amazing COC resource that we know, our own Ricky, who has been playing COC for years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is going to be good.
Cool.
This is going to be really good. That'll be coming in April, right here on MTD. I think that is about it. I do want to remind you, as we do before every game, that you matter. Your presence here on this earth makes a difference. Whether or not you believe it, it's true. But we recognize you might be struggling. We all go through things, and it's okay to not be okay. But you don't have to struggle alone. There are resources available. While you're here, if you find yourself struggling, or if you know of somebody that's struggling and needs help, simply type !help in the chat, and a URL will pop up, findahelpline.com. That will pop up periodically. Check out the website, bookmark it for yourself, save it for a friend. It is incredibly easy to use. You just put where in the world you're located. Hit enter, and you will get all kinds of phone numbers, websites, text numbers for a variety of help services based on where you're located in the world. So please do use that resource. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
Ooh.
All right.
Gary is very excited.
Yes.
We are going to get started here. In recent events, the book club has learned some interesting information, met a few people along the way. They discovered something called a Shadowfell crossing. How did they get there, Gary?
They dug up a child's grave there, Jake.
Yep, that's absolutely right. A point of great sorrow and tragedy served as a crossing point into the Shadowfell. But they did acquire an artifact that helped the 3 dragon antes, a jade turtle figurine that turned out to actually be a horizon-back tortoise, which is a tortoise about 50 feet long from tail to nose, and on the back of which resides the 3-story house of the 3 dragon antes, who gave them a lift back to Candlekeep, where several of them, they're taking about a 10-day to do a variety of things. Assyria and Teera recently had their heirloom swords get damaged fighting an acid-based creature. Teera's recently discovered long-lost brother, Torin/Kane, barely got to rejoice in the reunion, and he took off in the night, but left a necklace and something else in her backpack. All of them have been doing various tasks around Candlekeep, looking into getting swords repaired. Doc has sent supplies, a supply wagon to the caldera to aid the kobolds there. Mizya was learning how to do alchemy and artificer stuff because game mechanics wise, they all reached level 5. And Mizya is now a wizard artificer. Mizya also interacted with their covert connection, an old friend of theirs by the name of Ravona Shadowheart. And Mizya appears to be operating on their own agenda. None of the others are any wiser to that. Teera and Vorn were asking around, trying to find out about a fight club, and of course, you don't talk about fight clubs. But eventually, they were directed to a lone bookshelf in a shadowy corner, where they pulled on the book entitled Extracurricular Activities and stepped into an extra-dimensional space. And I think that's where we're going to pick up, is as Teera and Vorn pass through this threshold into this other space.
I imagine when the book comes out and it goes and the bookshelf opens up, there is like this moment where Teera and Vorn just kind of look at each other, give each other a fist bump, and then immediately proceed into the space.
As you walk into this space, you find that it's the back room of a tavern. Yes. It is just, there's quite a few people in here.
Oh my God, yes.
And there's tables. Everything seems to be arranged in sort of this semicircular space. And you can tell that there's beyond it, there's this railing and there's sort of a darkened area, but you can't really see down into this darkened area real well. But there are several people milling about in here. In addition to yourselves is the bartender at the hearth, whom you've seen off and on depending on which shift he's on, and he's ultimately the one that told you about the fight club. There is a rather pale looking woman who is wearing very nice, almost you could almost say elegant clothing, sort of almost like a suit, but it looks very old, like it's out of fashion.
Oh, okay.
There's a surly looking, quite scraggly looking dwarf. His face looks scrunched up, less because of an expression he's making, and more because it looks like he's been hit repeatedly in his face. He's got like cauliflower ear and he's got a few scars across him, and he wears this heavy metal armor with spikes sticking up all over it.
Okay.
There is a very tall and thin tabaxi woman who is looks like a sphinx cat, like a hairless cat.
Okay.
And she wears these really tall boots that are folded over, and a loose fitting sort of blouse and leather vest. You can see she has a rapier at her side and a large floppy brimmed hat with one side flipped up and a feather tucked into it.
Cool.
You also see two familiar faces here, sitting together at a table. One of them takes up most of the table and has a mug of ale in one giant meaty hand and a book in the other. It's a little one.
Oh, there he is!
And sitting with them at the table is 15-year-old tiefling Irony.
Yes. Oh my God, I knew I liked them. Awesome. Awesome. So seeing like the two people I recognized, I kind of elbow Vorn and I nod over to that table. And then I kind of head over there, kind of just trying to maintain like a posture like I own the place. I don't want to like be as amazed by this as I should be, this extra dimensional space or whatever this is. Is it just a back room, or do I sense that this is an
no, this
extra-dimensional
is
space?
you have all already learned that the doors all around the interior, the hearth itself is bigger on the inside than the outside is. And
Okay.
all along the walls, every door leads to another extra dimensional space.
Gotcha. Okay. This is still kind of an amazing thing for Teera, and so she acts like she's not amazed though, and she just kind of goes over to the two of them and is like, "Oi, familiar faces, eh?"
Make a deception or performance roll.
Okay. Oh, I forgot entirely about my deception. Okay, that is a 5.
Let's see.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Just
Little one glances over at you, and while little one is sitting down, he's still slightly taller than you. As he kind of looks over down at you. Oh, it's Teera, the Sunmaid. I haven't seen you in quite some time. I was a bit surprised I am to see you here.
and I kind of like puff out my chest. I'm like, "Are you really? If there's fighting to be had, then I'm not far behind, eh?"
I believe that, but it's okay to be amazed at what you see here. Every time I enter these extra-dimensional spaces, I find it quite intriguing.
Yeah, it is that. And I kind of nod. I'm like, "Irony?"
Irony kind of looks at you like, Teera?
Listen, we know it. We're all here. Secret safe with me, eh?
I would certainly hope so. Harlow wouldn't have let you in if he thought you were going to be a liability.
Mm-hmm. Certainly not. I just want to bloody my knuckles. Speaking of, and Tira's kind of looking around and she says, "Who do I talk to about that?"
You don't have to actually talk to anybody about it. We just are waiting around. Apparently we were waiting for you to show up.
Well, what if we hadn't shown up?
Well, then the fighting would have continued, but with a smaller bracket.
There's a bracket.
Well, you look around. There are quite a few of us. It's not a free-for-all. It's actually quite an interesting setup. We are randomly paired off with each other. We fight. The winner then moves on. There is, of course, the matter of you have to pay an upfront entry fee.
Ugh. What's the entry fee?
It's an amount of gold that you pay to secure your location in the fighting bracket.
Yeah, little one, I was pretty sure of that. But what amount of gold? And Teera kind of is thinking about Doc in this moment.
Oh. Right, sorry for my misunderstanding. It's 25 gold pieces per person to enter. But
All right.
if you go all the way to the end, you could end up winning 400 gold pieces.
Oh. Well,
No.
and I kind of like crack
Sorry,
my knuckles.
that was my bad.
That's okay.
275 gold pieces.
Yeah, that math didn't quite line up. Anyway, and I kind of crack my knuckles and I look at Vorn and I'm like, "Well, that sounds like a deal to me." And I just kind of like lean in and I'm like, "Do you know who I'm matched up with first?"
Well, in just a little bit, Harlow will come in and read us all the rules, and set everything up. Why don't you
sounds
grab a
great.
drink?
No, can't fight
And
without
little
the
one
drink.
sort of points over to a corner near where you came in, and there's these horns and mugs lined up across the counter, and there's literally just an open keg that people are just dipping their cups into to get some ale.
That sounds phenomenal. I go and I help myself.
Well, I am just looking real quick to
And as
get
you do
Vorn's
that,
character
Teera is
sheet
just,
ready.
Teera, oh Christ. Teera is just looking around more at this space, and she's sort of kind of like sizing the people up. Like, she obviously, it was kind of all like overwhelming when she came in, but then she's kind of like looking at the tabaxi and then kind of like looking at these people and just sort of trying to see if she can figure out their weaknesses, and kind of feeling for the first time in many days, feeling in her element, like getting ready to fight and, you know, show off her stuff, kind of.
So you're eyeing the tabaxi.
Kind of all of them, but yeah, her first.
As you are looking over at the tabaxi, she's sort of leaning back in her chair, and the hat is tipped down to where it's kind of covering her eyes. And as she brings her cup up to her lips, she points one finger up and just pushes the hat just enough so that you can see her eyes, and she just winks.
Okay, well, that's upsetting and terrifying.
It's like a kind of like a I see you wink, not like a slow seductive wink.
Yeah, no, that's
although
fine,
Teera can interpret it however she wants.
Either way, Teera just kind of goes like, and then just like takes another like big horn of ale, and then continues to just sort of look around and wait for Harlow. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
After she sets her mug down, the tabaxi actually stands up, and as she stands, you find that she's suddenly standing next to you.
Oy.
She just moves very quickly and lithely.
Ooh. Hello?
She doesn't acknowledge you. She looks down to Irony and says, "Are these friends of yours, Irony?" Yes, I know them. I work with them here at the library. Man. And she turns to you, and she just standing very close. She's probably like 18 inches away from you.
Wow.
And
okay.
she just looks you up and down, and then she looks over at Vorn and does the same thing. And then she glances at you.
I kind of puff up a little bit as she's doing this. I try to stand extra tall.
And she gives Vorn one more once over.
Oh!
And then she goes, "Wow. I am very much looking forward to seeing what you are capable of doing."
And I kind of like, well, looking is all you better do.
Save your posturing for inside the ring. She holds out her hand.
I kind of like for a handshake.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. I kind of like
What
grab
else
her
did
hand
you
to shake. I don't know, for Vorn to kiss her hand or some weird.
No, sorry,
shit.
she's just
I don't
holding
know.
it out for a
No,
handshake.
I shake her hand, and I just sort of like I'm tempted to frickin' crush her hand, but I don't, because Teera's grown as a person.
She just says, "I am rising tide."
Teera, the sun-maned.
She kind of tilts her head and looks at your hair. Very suiting name.
Yeah, not terribly creative. Orcs.
And there's this moment where all of a sudden she kind of goes, "Oh," as you see the dwarf push past her, and he kind of pushes her into you and Vorn both just a little bit.
Ugh.
And you just see this stocky, angry-looking dwarf. "Better watch where you're going."
Oh my
And
god.
he sidles past, grabs 2 mugs of ale, dips them both into the bucket, takes 2 big drinks. At
Well,
which
he bet-
point... Oh, go ahead.
Good. I was just gonna. I lean to just kind of anybody who will listen and say, "Well, he better hope he goes first, otherwise he's gonna be too in the sauce to do anything."
Suddenly the lights go on in the shadowy area, and you see that there is a miniature arena. It's probably about 18 feet in diameter, set down low, and in the middle of it stands the human bartender, Harlow.
Awesome.
And he says, "All right, well, normally I wouldn't need to do any kind of introductions here, but we've got a couple of new guests with us this evening, so I'm gonna go over the rules, and we're gonna get started. First off, there is a 25 There's a 25 gold piece per person registration fee. That, of course, goes to pay the purse when you win your fights.
When?
Matches will be randomly drawn. There will be 1 fight per day. Now, you hear the dwarf immediately.
Ooh.
"I'm ready to fight all you."
Mm-hmm.
I know that you contest this rule every time. We are riding a very thin line on breaking the rules here. This helps to keep things copacetic and gives you time to recover in between bouts. When you are in the ring, the fight is over when one or both fighters falls unconscious. That's it. The fight is over if one or both of you tap out. 4 first round winners will each win 25 gold pieces and advance to the second round. 2 winners of the second round will each win 50 gold pieces, and 1 winner in the third round, winner of the whole thing, will win an additional 200 gold pieces. And the last and final rule: what happens in the ring stays in the ring. Are there any questions?
I raise my hand.
Yes, you.
When do we start?
As soon as you're done asking questions.
I look at Vorn. I smile.
All right, we are going to randomly match you up. Teera, roll a d8.
Oh god, there's a table involved. Okay, 5.
All right, Teera, you are... you see that as he says this, Rising Tide, the tabaxi, comes around with a leather pouch and holds it out to you, and you pull out a little chit, and written on it is Harlow Fletcher. You'll be
sick.
fighting the bartender.
Awesome. Perfect.
So next up, Vorn. Cari, why don't you go ahead and roll a d8 for Vorn? See who Vorn's
All
going
right.
to fight.
That is a 3.
Vorn pulls out his chit, and you just hear next to you, Teera, Vorn go, "Gulp."
Oh God,
And
little
then he
one.
leans over to show it to you, and it says "little one" on it.
Yes, called it. Awesome. Oh geez. Oh, Vorn, I'm sorry.
Jordan,
That's
why
what
don't
you get, Ricky.
go ahead and roll me a die for irony. A D8. That's a 7. Irony draws out the name. Oops. Draws out the dwarf's name with the chit that says mustard plug.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and roll a D8 to see. Let's see, this is going to be for the pale-looking woman, Victoria. Well, I guess that's all that's left. Is Victoria and Rising Tide actually are going to fight.
Nice. Awesome.
And
As it should be.
Rising Tide. All right. As everybody starts to get ready, Harlow looks up at you and says, "Well, you were quick on the draw with the question. Let's see how you are in the ring. Get on down here."
Oh my God. I get down there immediately. I guess I would leave I would almost for a comical length of time, Teera's taking weapons off of her belt and handing them to Vorn. Is this fist fighting? Or
As
is this fighting?
As you do that, you start to unhook any weapons. Rising Tide looks over at you and says, "Are you going to go in the bare knuckle brawling?" As you look down in the ring, you see Harlow putting on this helmet with like a grill that covers his face. And Harlow is, let me describe what Harlow is outfitted with here. As Harlow, that is not the right link. Let me fix that. You see Harlow pulls on this helmet, and he grabs a spear and shield from where it was leaning against the wall. And you just see him take this shield or this spear, taps it against his shield, and then just kind of.
Okay. Alrighty. Well.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Nope. I immediately re-loop my belt and get my scimitar off of it.
Okay.
My real sword's in the shop.
Irony kind of looks at you as you're fastening things up and says, "Harlow is trying to take advantage of the fact you don't know how this works. Give it your all. You will not, in most cases, you will not be allowed to die. It's very rare that somebody dies here. Just give it your all."
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do anything less. Anything's worth doing right. And I kind of nod and I wink at Vorn, and then I hop down into the little thing.
All right, and you hop down inside, and we are going to Jordan, I'm going to assume you're not ready, or are you? Yeah, we'll jump over to Gory. Gory? What the? I tried to say it.
Amazing. That's what you call a Freudian slip. This is about to be disgusting.
Gary. Sorry, Doc. Can't even get the names right.
Phenomenal.
So, Doc, where are you and what are you doing? You've spent a couple days arranging for these supplies to be sent. You've by this point taken delivery of the goats came in, and you saw to all the grain and everything, and it was all shipped out. And the I forgot their names. You could probably tell me before I can. The folks who the Denders. The Denders took off with their wagon heading on your directions to the Caldera. So what are you doing in the meantime? Where can you be found? You're muted, sir.
Doc is trying to seek out Miriam. So he is taking the stairs down and keeping his plan to keep going down.
What stairs are you taking down?
There were stairs in the tower that led them into the basement. So he's trying to find those stairs again.
Okay, so you would head across the court of air into the pillars of pedagogy, and you go into that same one, sort of where the erudite outfitters and clothiers is, and next to it there's a like a I want to say like a greenhouse, but it's not. It sort of is, but it's where he raises silkworms for making clothes and stuff. But between these two buildings, there's the door that you recall. And when you head into that pillar of pedagogy, whatever, I keep forgetting how it is. Anyway, you find that there are no stairs leading down.
That's odd. There used to be stairs here. Okay.
I will say you have already been delivered in the interim. You would have been delivered the special badge and the sealed scroll with the that grants you access into the inner part of the library.
Yeah, so I guess Doc will go to the emerald door.
Ah, yes. You find at the emerald door a familiar-looking individual reading a book who, as you approach...
Hello.
Yes. How may I help you, sir?
You can let me in.
I could do that. But the question is whether or not I will. Do you have the necessary rights and permissions to enter the inner sanctum?
Yes.
I will need to see those then.
Very well. Doc will provide the documentation.
He seems very surprised when you hand him this document. Pardon me. I will have to inspect it closely to ensure that it is not fraudulent or a forgery in any way. And
Doc is going to take out his notebook, and as this creature is inspecting the documents, he's going to be taking notes.
They pull out or take a look at the scroll, and then you see, as he inspects it, checking to see that the seal is thoroughly intact, he reaches in and pulls a very fine looking silver, it almost looks like a sword pendant, and just holds it close and carefully slides it under the edge of the seal to break the wax seal, and then opens it up, looks over it at you, scowls. Well, everything is in order, and he hands the slip back to you. It appears you have been granted indefinite access to the inner wards. Welcome. And the emerald doors swing open, revealing the entrance to the inner ward of the Great Library.
Doc will say, "Thank you," and walk past him.
He watches you the entire time you are walking through.
as Doc can feel him sort of eyeballing him as he's walking in. So he's going to stop as he's about to enter. He's going to turn back and he's going to wave and then enter the door.
Whether or not you see it, he does reluctantly wave back at you because it would be rude not to return a wave.
Of course.
All right. You pass through the emerald door, and you can immediately see that there is a bit of a winding stairway that leads up towards the very tall structure that dominates this area. And you can already see what to you look like on a raised, much higher terrace, these gardens and pathways. And then off to the left and to the right, pathways lead into various parts of the inner ward. Where would you like to go?
I guess he's going to try and go into the inner ward and see if he can find stairs down.
Okay. What skill would you like to use to try to navigate your way through to try to find a stairway down?
Investigation.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check. And I'm going to say do so with advantage because a lot of this looks very familiar to you.
Doc is going to break the glass and sprinkle the powder and rub it on his hands, and then he's gonna sort of pat himself on the shoulder and he's gonna say, "You can do it," and he's gonna guide himself. That's a 27.
Okay. You begin to walk through to what a random observer or to any observer would appear you're just randomly turning down pathways. You'll bypass entire buildings as you make your way towards heading sort of to the north, following little pathways, crossing a bridge, passing by a building that appears to be made of large glass orbs stacked up on top of each other. You move around past what looks like a small temple and a very nice topiary garden until you find a building that has what looks like a gold dome. And you would recognize draconic runes on this building. Passing through the doors, you see that the interior of this building has sculptures of dragons. They're definitely leering down, but not in an ominous way. They're posed more grandly, like they're at their full height on all fours, with their necks extended, chests out, wings folded back, and there are in each corner of this space there is a dragon. Once you are in this space, what would you like to do?
I guess I'm going to examine the statues. Sorry, did you say that there was any obvious exits or entry? Other
No,
exits?
there is no, other than the door you pass through. This appears to be just a large open space with no passageways or doors or anything.
Okay, Doc is going to walk up to the largest dragon statue And he's going to gently knock. And he's going to say, excuse me, I'm looking for Miriam.
You knock and you say this, and in response you hear in Draconic. Remind me, do you speak Draconic?
No. No, I do not.
Okay. What do you do after that?
Doc is going to gently knock again, and he's going to say, I'm sorry, I don't speak Draconic. Do you speak Common or Giant, perhaps?
Make me a charisma roll.
Persuasion?
Sure.
He's gonna grind up some powder. He's gonna pat himself on the shoulder. He's gonna say, "You can do it." And oh, that's good. 20. What is my persuasion? Plus 5, 24.
You hear in response, you are lucky. I have taken a liking to you.
Ooh.
Why do you seek me?
Well, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't say that I'm lucky, because generally people find me very charming. I don't understand why. I don't quite understand people, but they seem to like me wherever I go. I tend to make friends very easily, so I wouldn't say that I would be surprised, and anyone who knows me wouldn't say that I was surprised either. And also, when I was down visiting, you told me that I could come and see you anytime. I just had to find the stairs that go down. But I couldn't find any stairs that go down. The last time I came, I went through the tower and there were stairs leading down, but I couldn't find them. So I came into the green door, and then I went to a passageway that led to the left and then to the right, and then I went through an open space, and then I found this building with a golden dome that had dragon statues, and I thought to myself, well, if I was to ask for you, that seems to be a good place. So I knocked politely and I said, is Miriam here? And then I heard someone speaking in Draconic, and then I knocked politely again and reminded everyone that I don't speak neither common, I only speak Common and Giant. So then here we are. Oh, but to answer your question, you seemed lonely, so I thought you might be interested in some conversation. I know you said last time you were generally confined to the lower areas, so I thought you might be interested in conversing with me. I'm generally considered to be something of a conversationalist, as you might be able to tell.
Oh my god.
It is truly refreshing to hear something other than my own intrusive thoughts. Yes, I did tell you to come visit me anytime, but I was not certain you would remember. Our last meeting was a bit of an ethereal jaunt.
What does that mean?
You do realize, when we previously met, you were never actually in my presence. We met on the ethereal plane, connected by dreams, thoughts, hopes. So you can see why I was uncertain you would remember.
That's strange. I don't sleep, so I don't dream. but I have a memory, if I can describe it as that, of us speaking. And I remember going into the tunnel and down the stairs and taking a left and then taking a right and going straight for a while and then taking another set of stairs down. It's almost as though I'm doing it now. I can feel myself descending deeper and deeper into the library and almost feeling the weight of the stone above my shoulders. But now that you say it, I feel like I'm hearing your voice for the first time. It's curious, no?
It is very curious indeed. I am willing and intrigued to hear more about your thoughts on the subject. Please, come down closer. And you hear behind you, and in the very center of this space, it just sort of descends down, and you see sections of the floor just turning into a stone spiral staircase leading down.
And Doc will begin taking the stairs.
All right.
Oh my god.
As
It's
you
like the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin.
as you head down the stairs and sort of disappear from our view, after a few moments, we hear just your echoing footsteps. And then as the stairs rise back up. At which point, we're going to cut over to Assyria.
Amazing. Amazing.
God. Not the tension-filled music.
The tension music,
No,
bro.
like, oh no.
Jake recently put together a few new playlists, guys. They're great.
Yeah. Well, it's been fitting as Cari and I have been plotting, so.
Oh yeah, we're all reading.
So, where are you and what are you doing in Assyria?
So after stopping to get our swords fixed, Assyria probably spent also a little bit of time looking around to see about. She doesn't know anything about it, but possibly looking to get some armor commissioned for Soren.
Oh,
Yeah, he needs some armor because he's very, very gentle. So something that will still keep him quiet, like nothing like heavy, but will give him just, even a little bit of a boost to just to give him a little bit of coverage. Think Trinket from Vox Machina. Just a little bit of coverage, that's all. So she probably would have at least started looking around or starting to come up with sketches, seeing kind of Soren's movement of how like the armor should kind of be on his body to allow for him to still be quiet. It's not cumbersome, but still giving him that little bit of extra edge. She would have also honestly spent just a lot of time kind of off on her own, with Soren, obviously, just kind of resetting a little bit. Each journey that she's taken from Candlekeep has kind of changed her in some way, shape, or form, and this most recent one left a very big impact on her, and she made some rash decisions that she's not proud of. So she's kind of taking some time trying to get her emotions under control. When she can, she will choose one night when the moon is out but not full, and she's going to have some of her ale, and she's going to be sitting with Soren, kind of trying to find a spot where she can still see the tree line, because Candlekeep, even being outside to her, it still feels very much like a cage. and she just would rather be underneath the leaves of the forest around her. And just kind of listening to nature around her. And she will actually cast, I'm going to double check I have it, Speak with Animals.
Oh, awesome.
She's going to talk to Soren. So you see her kind of focus in. She actually kind of reaches lightly up towards what's hidden underneath her armor, her locket. And then she'll kind of hold her hand out towards Soren and kind of wait for him to put his head in her hand. And you'll see this kind of yellow glow emit from her hand and from the locket. And it'll kind of flow around Soren, I think actually like wrapping around so that it goes towards his throat where his vocal cords are. And hi, buddy.
At first, you hear this. And then this sort of.
Good.
Like, Soren knows something's up with his voice. This. Syria.
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yes. And I can understand you. For a few minutes, buddy.
How long do we have?
Not too long. Probably 2 quick walks.
Oh my
two what?
God.
2 quick walks.
Quick walks.
You know, I'm sure she's trying to relate it to something that he would know, like a quick out to go to the potty, like a quick walk around.
How long does Speak with Animals last? I forget.
10 minutes.
Okay.
2 quick walks or 2, quick potties,
One number 1 and one number 2.
Yeah.
Oh. I have so much to say.
Oh my God.
Good, because I have a lot to ask you. Don't worry, you don't have to shove it all in this conversation. We can have more. But I wanted to check in and see how you're doing.
That is a big question, Assyria.
It is.
I have to tell you something.
What?
I don't know how to say this.
Could you show me?
I can't show you. Is this the only time we'll ever be able to speak like this?
No. How about this? Anytime you wish to speak to me, like this, put your paw on my shoulder 3 times. And I'll try to, if I'm able, I'll try and cast this. If not, we'll find something else. But no, this will not be the only time.
I may be riding on your shoulders after this day. For all that I want to talk to you about, Assyria.
Oh, no. Now that's starting to scare me.
You should be scared.
That's worse.
Do you remember when you found our family in the cave? When you found me?
Well, technically, it was your family that found me. But
Well,
yes?
do you not think of them all as your family?
I mean, I do, but I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for them. They dragged me back to the den, so...
Syria, Your first day in that cave was my first day in that cave.
Oh my god.
I remember. You were just a wee little pup.
I don't mean it was the day that I was born.
What do you mean?
It was the day I woke up.
Woke up.
I'm afraid to tell you this, Assyria, because everything is going to change.
I mean, everything has been changing. But we've had each other's backs for years now.
More than you know.
I'm sure of that. I'm sure you've known about, and she'll kind of gesture lightly towards the mark, known about that far longer than I've been aware of.
When you kind of gesture to the mark, almost involuntarily, Soren's hackles raise a little, and you just hear this.
It's alright.
Assyria.
Yes.
Soren is the name that you gave,
Right.
but it is not my name.
What is your name?
Theodred.
No!
And that's where we're going to take our break.
No!
Wow. F you, Gary.
That's my brother!
F you, Gary. Gary called this 15 seconds ago. I'm not lying.
Oh my god.
To clarify, I called it like 3 months ago, but
Well,
I'm just reminding
I
people
had
that I
it.
called it.
I had a thought, but I didn't think it was a thing. Oh my god, I'm crying. Oh my
Okay.
god.
When you said you were going to cast Speak with Animals, I have been waiting for this moment since we started this
Oh
game,
my
basically.
God.
Teera's gonna be a bitch. Sorry. What? It's too soon.
Oh my god.
So we're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute
my
break.
God.
We will be back in just a few moments. Please stick around. We'll see you on the other side. And we're back as
Ooh.
Teera has just jumped into the ring with the human gladiator,
Awesome.
who is
Yeah.
hold on, I get my Fight Club sheet up here. Harlow Fletcher. And he's got a spear and a shield. You're wielding a scimitar.
Yep.
You have your character sheet, so you know what you can do. And you
Damn
know what
right
the
I
first
can.
thing you're going to do?
Roll initiative.
You're going to roll initiative.
Yay! Here I go. Well, that bit. That is a 6.
And Harlow has a 12.
Oh well, not a ton.
As
better.
the two of you start just sort of circling around. What are you doing at the start of this fight? And we'll lead into the actual combat here, because he's
So I
already done
imagine-
his sort of starting screen flare. What do you do when you enter the ring?
Teera would jump down and just sort of like crack her neck from side to side, and like she doesn't have any of the armor that this guy has, and then just sort of like gets her scimitar out and just sort of like takes like kind of a more like animal stance. And can I rage in this pre-fight period or no?
No, because it's not your turn.
Okay, that's why I figured I'd ask. That's it. And she just kind of like smiles again, feeling almost in her element.
All right. He comes charging at you with the shield up, and he's immediately going to ram into you with the shield. That is a 12 to hit.
Does not hit me.
So as he rams into you, you are able to sort of put your arms up, and maybe you slide back just a little bit.
Yep, anime style, sick.
But as he is up close like that, he kind of pushes off of you, staying within range, and he's going to take 2 quick jabs with his spear.
Oof.
The first one is going to be a 23 to hit. The second one is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, both of those hit me.
Those are one-handed. So those are going to be. You're going to take. As he just two quick jabs right in your side, you take 14 points.
Ooh.
And then you take another 13 points. You take 27 points.
I am gonna lose. Oh boy.
But that's his turn. Yeah, that's his turn against you.
Oh. Well, I guess I would like to rage.
What does that look like when you rage?
So Teera kind of like sees her own blood, sort of, and then just like looks up, and there's rage in her eyes, and all of a sudden I imagine it strikes just a little bit of fear. Yeah, I want to try to attack him with my scimitars. Here I go. Ba-ba-da-ba. Scheisse. That is only a 9 to hit him.
There's a loud metallic ring and a bit of sparks as you clash into his shield.
Okay. I do get 2 attacks now, though, because I am 5th level. Here I go. Oh my god. That is a 15 to hit.
Again, his shield
Jesus.
comes up and blocks your scimitar, and you just see up close, you can see his face smiling at you from behind this sort of grilled gladiator mask, and he just says, "Hey, welcome to the club."
Oh,
And
he is going to he's going to take another shield bash at you. That's going to be an 18 to hit.
Yeah. I'm going to lose hard. Damn.
That's 7 points of bludgeoning damage reduced to 4.
Okay.
Because you are raging.
Okay.
And he's actually going to... He's trying to force you up to, like, pin you against the wall, so he is going to shield bash you 2 more times.
Wow.
The next time, he rams into you trying to push you back, and you actually, as he hits you, it's only a 13. So he actually hits you, and he slides back a couple inches.
Yep.
That final one is a 15 to hit.
My armor class is a 15.
And he just hits you. That's going to be 10 reduced to 5 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
It's okay if you lose your first time.
Oh, fucker. So I am gonna just try to hit him again because I'm raging. Here I go. Let's see. Now, okay, so can I do a frenzy attack now that I have been raging for 1 turn? Is that how that works?
Yes, because it's a bonus action to do it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm just gonna attack him the first time. That's better. That is a 24 to hit.
Yes.
On the first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want me to roll all 3 attacks first and then do damage?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or...
Go ahead and do that.
Sure. Shit. That's a 10.
Yep. Shield is going to block that.
And that's an 18.
And that is going to hit.
Nice. Okay.
So 2 hits.
So that is, let's see. Nice. That is going to be, so 9, and then that's 8, so 17 plus an additional 2 on each is 21 points of damage total.
He just, as you cut in with the scimitar a couple times, he goes, excellent. And
awesome.
He is going to disengage as a action. and move out of your range.
Mm-hmm.
And you catch him glancing down to where you cut him. But you see, actually make an insight check real quick.
Okay. Insight check is 12.
Nope. Not while you're raging this, that can be good enough. Okay.
No, that's good.
He's backed off, moving across. He's probably about 12 feet away from you.
Okay, so I want to move to him and attack him. Here I go. That's a nat 1.
Oh, it's not where I thought you were going.
I
want to
reroll. I want to
Reroll.
reroll. Yeah, I'm gonna reroll.
All right, that's
it. I'm gonna reroll.
three.
Yeah,
Toes.
I gotta. Thanks, Mom. Jordan also typed reroll in all caps in the chat. I'm feeling a little peer pressure. Gary, this is not my fault. This is totally Jordan, I will have you know. Okay. Here I go. Oh my God. That's an 11.
Put
This
that dice
blows.
in jail. Put that dice
Yeah,
in jail.
They're all in jail. I have been rotating them.
So, Harlow, as you
Oh,
come in
God.
and you just take these couple of swings. Well, actually, that's only your first attack, right?
I have one more. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make your second
Okay.
attack. Let's see how that goes.
Nat 20.
Okay. You see,
Okay.
so as you take that first attack, and it's really clumsy, and he barely has to move his shield. He
Mhm.
looks at you and says, Have you ever actually used the scimitar before? And that's when you come in with the crit.
Yep. Yep. I forget how you do crits here.
Well,
I've never.
first
haven't done it
off,
very often.
Crits are automatic max damage.
Nice.
Then you roll all damage dice again. So
Okay.
your rage bonus, all that other stuff is part of
Yeah.
your max damage. And then you just
Okay.
roll the dice one more time, add them to it.
Okay. 12. And then 5, and then I did so that's 17 plus 19 total.
Okay. Then I need you to roll me a d12.
Okay. 9.
So you hit him in the torso. Go ahead and roll me a d20.
Oh my God. Nat 20. This is the one, bitches. This is the one that's out of jail.
Okay. As Harlow lifts his arms to try to block you, you quickly capitalize, smashing your scimitar with full force into his groin. You hear him
Oh.
suddenly scream in agony, and he falls to the ground. He is knocked prone, and I need him to make a con save.
Oh, well.
Whoops. He falls to the ground.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. I need to make another con save. Okay. Phew. He's not sterile. They're literally in there. I have to roll for male combatants to see if they get sterilized.
If I hit him in the balls so hard he died, I would feel so
No,
bad.
no. You don't kill him.
Okay, good.
But when he screams out as you just slam this sword, you hit him so hard, he actually lifts off the ground a couple inches. He
Ooh.
comes down and just crumples and doesn't move again. You have won this round. You knocked him unconscious with a
Oh my
crit.
God.
Because you rolled
yeah.
20 on, he failed his con save and is knocked unconscious. There's an audible gasp from all those around you. And then you hear Little One and Irony and Vorn are all cheering for you. There's a little bit of applause. You hear somebody say, "That was a little bit of a dirty move." and you hear Mustard Plug. I done hit him there twice. I done
No.
beat him off. So you,
Awesome.
the 25 gold that you removed in order to pay your entry fee,
Right back.
you have one back.
Nice.
Um,
Awesome.
I need real quick. I'm gonna do this before I forget. Why is it not showing? All right, he hasn't added it. Okay, that's fine.
Teera steps out of the ring and kind of like is just sort of like heaving, breathing heavy, and like sheathes the scimitar and kind of like looks at Vorn and kind of smiles and like winks again, and then just kind of limps over to the open keg once more.
So we mark this down on the bracket. Teera, you win that fight. Gary, go ahead and roll me a d20.
15, Jake.
All right, do so again.
17, Jake.
All right, one more.
8.
Wow, that was close. Rolled a 6. Over the next couple of days, some other fights take place. Unfortunately for Vorn,
Oh no.
it is a close fight, but Vorn gets just knocked unconscious by Little One.
Aw. I make sure I'm there for his fight, obviously. Like, I am there in support.
Jordan, roll me d20.
Oh boy. You're muted, I think, friend.
19.
All right, first round. Another d20.
$11.
And last one.
1.
It's
Only
close.
mustard
It's
plug.
close at the end, but Teera, you would notice that Irony spends most of the fight versus Mustard Plug dodging very quickly, but when they do strike, they move in low and will hit with just rapid kicks and punches.
Ooh.
At times, they dodge out of the way, flip over, or slide under or around. Irony is very agile and seems to be using some sort of martial arts techniques to win this fight.
Awesome.
So Irony does win that one. And Teera, you should go ahead and roll me.
Okay. That's a
D20.
1. I'm
Okay.
getting them out on the other people.
So you're rolling for Victoria. I'm rolling for Rising Tide.
Okay.
And gonna check something. Victoria is a straight up brawler.
Mm-hmm.
Right, go ahead and roll again.
7.
What was the first roll?
A 1.
Okay. And then third.
5.
Victoria seems to have a fierceness in her attacks and seems to come close. You could almost call it a rage without actually raging. But she's also slow compared to Rising Tides, very quickly, almost dancing across the arena with their rapier.
Cool.
And she just keeps piercing. Make me an insight check or a perception check, rather.
Ooh, perception check is a 21.
You would notice that at no point, despite the numerous piercings from a rapier, does Victoria bleed. With that,
AXEINGG. Sorry.
With that, we are going to go to deep within the catacombs of Candlekeep, where Doc, you have been descending for several minutes. It's not the same spiral staircase. You go down for a little while, and then you have to move across, in a certain direction for a little while, and then you find another set of stairs that lead down. At one point, you find this corridor that just leads in a long descending arc. And after about 20 or 30 minutes, you emerge into what looks like, it almost looks like you could have just walked in from another part of the library. There are shelves and shelves of books and tables. There's long hallways with doors leading off to study areas. There are numerous bookshelves full of books, maps, old parchments, scrolls. And there's this banister sort of centered around this large open area on the next level below. And you can see that the light that fills this area is this sort of ambient green, almost bioluminescence. And peering over the banister, you see the massive spectral form of Miram the dragon. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me find it. I probably would have found it on my own, but it would have taken a while.
If I didn't want you to find it, you may never have found it.
Yes, I believe that's true. I have a question.
I am interested to hear what questions you have.
I don't understand. I have a fleeting memory as though we met once before, almost here. But it's muted or faded, or almost like it was surrounded by mist, or somebody was whispering it to me, trying to explain something to me that I don't understand. How is it that we came to meet?
I encountered you on the spiritual plane, called the ethereal plane. You were more thought, mind. It was not your physical body that was there. You did not intend on this ethereal jaunt.
No, I don't even know how I got there. I've heard of the ethereal plane. At least I think I do. It's almost like an echo in the back of my mind. Like something I once said but didn't ever hear. It's strange, like a paradox that is both said and unsaid, or understood and not. I remember meeting you, but at once I find this place unfamiliar. And you, whom I thought that could be a treasured friend, I realized that we'd never actually met, except we have, in a strange way, and I don't know how it happened or why.
The night that we met, there was indeed a mysterious mist, as you say. There were outside forces. Forces that in my long life and my even longer death, I have become familiar with. But not intimately familiar. I believe a deity may have been behind your ethereal jaunt. Were you beset upon by visions? Were you given a heroic quest?
Yes, at the end of it, I did have visions. Visions of places that I had never been, but feel like places and times that I'd always been, that I'd existed in forever. It's almost as if I lived a life that I'd never lived. There were mirrors and visions of friends that I'd only just recently met, but in the moment it felt like I'd known them forever. I I can't say what it all means.
Interesting. And these messages were clearly intended for you.
Yes, I would say that they would have to be. Because at the end of my ethereal jaunt, as you called it, I came to a large room. It was a hall. It was a chronicle of the journey that me and my companions have made so far. It was clearly the story that I'd written in my mind. It was almost as though it was a fortress or a prison in my head. And in this place, there were four mirrors. Each of them showed a moment of great peril or stress in their lives. And I saw them clearly, as if I was watching, or not even as I was watching, as if I was there. And each in turn, there was Teera and Asaria and Vorn and Mizya. I learned much about their lives that I couldn't have known any other way. But as I said, at the same time, it was like I was there. And I can't explain it. I I know that it couldn't be true, and yet I feel even now that that echo of memory that I'm reaching out and struggling to touch, almost like a word you can't bring to your mouth, that it's on the tip of your tongue or the edge of your mind, that you can't bring forward. But I know that I was there and it was true, but I can't speak it aloud, if that makes any sense.
Hmm. I find it curious that you have repeatedly described these as memories. That you have memories that are intangible to you. Memories that are perhaps even lost. If I may be so bold and intend not to offend you, have you touched death?
I can't say for sure. I I feel as though once I was a different person. And I know that Teera once described me as a reborn. I didn't know what that meant at the time. It's as though she knew something about myself as I didn't. But as you ask the question, I feel something gnawing at the back of my neck, a familiar feeling, um, an, an essence of dread that I know that I felt before, like a darkening or a shadowing or something foul and cruel and dark. I I don't know if that's death, but it feels temporary and yet at once eternal. Does that make sense?
More than you realize. There is a place where the veil between worlds grows thin. It is that place between life and death. It is in those places that the Shadowfell seeps into our world. You speak of memories lost and memories not your own. You speak of a fortress. I believe you speak. The one who is known as the Queen of Air and Darkness. The Raven Queen. Deep within the Shadowfell, she holds court at a place known as the Fortress of Memories. She lays claim to souls that pass from this living world into the next. But you have not passed into this world. You are here. You may have denied her claim to your soul. And she may be seeking what she believes to rightfully be hers. I know this feeling all too well.
I heard something, and it's not something I shared with my companions, but we recently made our way to a house upon a hill. It belonged to a coven of ravens, were ravens, they called themselves, able, like were creatures, to turn from raven to humanoid and beyond.
Lycanthropes.
Yes, lycanthropes. Yes. My companions had a mission. They sought the Shadowfell. They desired to traverse the veil between our world and that, through the grave of a child, which I found distasteful. But what I didn't tell them, what I didn't want to admit aloud, there was a whisper that bid me come home. And I didn't know how long I could resist it. I could see the door glowing in the ground that was beckoning me inward, like a warm embrace on a cold day. And for the first time in as long as I can remember, I was afraid.
Good. You should be afraid. But in a respectful way. Do not let this fear dominate you. Know this. Though the Raven Queen may claim your soul as belonging to her, though she may try to influence its return, she cannot take it from you. You are living a new life. You will be brought close many times in your adventures, I am sure. You will have to maintain that fight for life if you wish. She herself cannot simply take it from you. I don't know if this offers you solace. I state merely the fact.
Yes. I don't know if I will take solace in it, but understanding is good. I feel as though there is much about this world that I don't understand, as if there's much that I once knew but have forgotten, or that I've lost and I'm seeking to find. It's hard to explain, but it's as if there's a map, and the map is whole, but it was washed away with a solvent, and I have only the barest understanding of where to go. It's difficult to operate every day. I struggle against who I was, and perhaps not just who I could be, but who I ought to be. And trying to decide, or rather even determine, if the choice is mine.
Who you are, who you will become, though you will be influenced by the world and the people in it, is always your choice. You are not defined by who you were, what your past life may have been. It is about the choices you make going forward. I wish I could offer you answers. I can offer you only insights of thousands of years of living and unliving has provided me.
Doc is going to pull a chair out from a table in the catacombs, and he's going to sit down, and he's going to look at the elder shadow dragon, and he's going to say, "Is it okay if we just sit silently for a while?"
Yes. And
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say Doc will sit silently looking at Miriam.
And Miriam returns your gaze. The only movement seems to be the slight shimmering in her ethereal form, her spectral form, and dust motes sort of floating through the air. And we'll just sort of pan away and sort of just suddenly start moving quickly up through the ground until we emerge outside of Candlekeep, where Soren and Assyria are talking, or should I say, Phaedrid and Assyria are talking.
Oh.
What?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, that's literally what
Sorry,
she would
that was-
say. Like, for the,
What?
That
I
was
know
so
about that.
perfect.
What?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Nope, that was perfect. I don't understand it completely, Syria. I just know that there was a darkness. And then I awoke in that den, in this form as a pup. And I knew the other wolves, or who they were, and I knew the wolf that was my mother, though not my mother, not our mother.
Right.
But the animal instincts were there. And the mark you bear. I used to wear that mark.
What? So you know who did this? There's our mother and father also?
Mother and father, as you know, sent me away
Yeah.
to Waterdeep, to the academy. Well, that's what they told you. I did go to Waterdeep,
Okay.
but while I was there, it was not the academy. I was sent into private study. And I spent quite a bit of time in my studies researching and learning about lycanthropy, werewolves and ravens, and rats, bears and tigers. I only ever had one instructor, an elven woman named Madame Shadowheart.
Did she do this to you? Is there any way to reverse it?
She didn't give me the mark. She said that it was my blood,
Your blood.
but I was there when it happened. She said that it was my birthright.
Your birthright. What is so? You're not making any sense.
It's hard for me to communicate 3 years of study and
Yeah.
learning into just a few minutes.
Well, I can recast it a couple more times, so there's no need to rush.
The more I studied with Madame Shadowheart, the more I got the sense that she had bigger plans. She wanted something more, something else. She talked at length about the importance of the mark, Sire Mark. She said that myself, the others, were important.
The others.
She spoke of how we could be used to cure lycanthropy. Something about this bloodline, Syria, in its pure form, supposed to, through some ritual, allow them, her, and she speaks of others. But I never learned who they were. but to allow them to perform some sort of ritual using my blood, these others, along with the blood of other lycanthropes. She said they could create a cure for all of lycanthropy. But there was something about it I didn't like.
Yeah.
I began to resist. I got into an argument with her. I intended to run away. I climbed out the window and down 3 stories. And in the rain and the cold, I made my way across Waterdeep. I was almost to the docks when everything went dark. The next thing I know, I woke up in the cave. How did you get the mark?
I don't really even know myself. I was out hunting. It was late. Mother was expecting guests for dinner. I was very late. You know, I don't do well with people. Rather be out in the wild anyways. And it had just snowed. I wasn't far from home and I was slowly making my way back, being late. And it got cold. Got dark. The next thing I knew, I woke up in snow. Not wearing anything, no sword, no armor, nothing. And just feeling an intense pain where it was. Couldn't make it back. Started to when I heard the wolves descending. And I passed out from exhaustion and just stunned. Next thing I knew, I woke up warm in the den, cuddling a little wolf pup in the cold. Couple days went by and eventually tried to go back, but the mark hurt again. Waited longer. Waited for my strength to return. And I returned with you. And that's when we found the sword in ash. Bloodline. Teera's brother was saying that there was something about our father that he was spying. Was he doing something with this shadow heart? Did he perhaps know about her, you think?
How many castings of Speak with Animals do you have?
I can do...
As many as she needs.
I can
Sorry.
do... Hang on. I can do 3 more. So that's
Okay.
a solid 40 minutes.
Okay.
Infinity.
I've never heard her talk about father or saw anything with father. And until that day, that man tried to take us.
Right.
I had never seen him, but I recognized his scent. It was familiar from Adam Shadowheart. like it lingered in the air, like he had been there.
He had been working with her. I'm getting the impression that he's either still working with her or perhaps breaking.
If he is working with her, I would never trust him.
Well, you saw how I kind of acted around him. I don't really trust him to begin with.
I
don't
don't
really
trust
trust
him
many.
either. Syria. That man, Cain. He bears the mark.
Right.
The same mark that I once bore. But Shadowheart spoke of another. I've never heard their name. I've never seen them.
It's not anyone in the group?
I would have known.
Right.
She often spoke of threes or in threes in triplicate.
We don't have another sibling, do we?
Not that I know of.
Okay, listen.
I don't know how it happened. But somehow, whatever happened to you and whatever happened to me is connected.
I've gathered.
And it has something to do with mother and father. What if Cain is Teera's brother,
Right.
and he bears the mark? Then she may be of the bloodline.
That's what I was thinking. It would make sense.
We need to keep an eye on her.
Well, that was obvious. There's so much I need to talk to you about. Does this mean I'm going to turn into like your size? Like a wolf and I'm not going to be able to come back? Or is there any... Do we know how to reverse this? Is it even possible?
If Shadowheart is to be believed, she's the key to the cure.
Is it a cure, though?
I do not know. But I do know this. While I bore the mark, I never proved myself in a way that Shadowheart was satisfied with, and I resisted with every core of my being. I was never affected by the moon, Syria. I never went through a transformation until this. What you are experiencing is something entirely different. But I feel somehow closer to you when you changed.
I'm probably a bit more likable because I'm actually listening to you. I'm not so good at that before. I'm worried about the next full moon.
I will be there with you.
Teera's brother was saying that it's worse the next time around. And I vaguely remember almost attacking.
I know from my studies. There are 3 phases of transformation.
Wonderful. Of course, it's in
Each one
threes.
gets worse.
Right. But did I ever do this before? Or is this the first time?
This
I
is
don't
the
recall.
first time.
Okay.
I can't answer as to why. Just know that I will be by your side. I may not ever be able to take on my half-elven form again.
Well, you look much better this way. We'll say that.
But I will watch over you as your friend and your brother. For as long as I can breathe and fight and protect. And I think around there, his voice starts to take on a more gravelly tone and just kind of turns into a bit of a whimper as you've used your last casting.
Yep.
And realizing that he can no
Before
longer
you
speak
go.
directly, he just sort of nuzzles his head up against your hand.
Can you do me a favor?
He kind of sits back on his haunches.
And she'll spend the next 10 minutes asking him to lift his paw up for bacon or carrots to try and figure out what other foods he might want to eat.
Oh my god. Puppers love carrots.
So you never know.
If you sit there for 10 minutes going through like a list of foods, it's definitely anything that is meat. I would say meats and sweets.
Meats and sweets, yep. For sure.
Have you ever seen when you try to give a dog or a cat like a carrot or a broccoli or something and they just go blah, blah, blah.
Except Brussels sprouts. They like Brussels sprouts.
They're right.
Really
I'll be damned.
Yeah. Cats love them. I imagine that she's just gonna spend the rest of the evening just kind of talking to Sadrid Soren and eventually just pass out.
All right. With that, we are going to head back to the fighting pits.
Oh yeah!
It's another day, and Teera, you step into the ring to find you are facing off against Little One.
Oh, well, okay. Alrighty then. Here we go.
Little One, as you hop down into the ring, Little One carefully closes his book, sets it on the table, and then he looks at Irony and says, "Please make sure I come back." And he reaches up
Oh my god.
and he takes the headband of intellect off his head. And he
I have
hands
never
it.
been more afraid.
He hands it to Irony, who sits there for a moment with her hand on his, very tiny, their hand on his, very tiny, in his gigantic hand. And then he stands up and he leaps down into the ring, walks over to the side, and he grabs what looked to you like it was probably decoration for the arena. It's a big length of spiked chain. He just grabs it and wraps it around his hand once, takes a couple,
Oh my
and let's
god.
roll for initiative as you face off
Phenomenal.
against Little One.
Oh jeez Louises. Oh god. 11.
12.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
god. We're just two lumbering oafs. Oh lord.
He is going to come walking forward, and he immediately just does a couple more of these, and then swings the chain at you. You need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy. I get advantage because I can see.
Yep.
There has been a long rest between this fight and the last fight,
Yes,
right?
yes, this is a
Okay.
whole other day.
Let's make
This is
sure.
like 4 days
Oh,
later.
You are kidding me. I get an 11.
Okay.
With advantage, it's an 11.
You take
God.
7 points of bludgeoning damage
Oh!
and your feet are knocked out from underneath you as the chain just sweeps your legs and knocks you down. It is your turn.
Okay. So can I rage?
Yeah.
And then stand up?
Yep, standing takes half your movement.
Okay. And then I guess can I attack?
What I'm going to say too, because it's been 4 days,
Okay.
and with the time you were looking around, in the interim, you would have gotten your greatsword back.
Okay.
And it is fully repaired.
Whatever happens, happens. Okay, great.
We are
Great.
going to, you have your greatsword if you want to use it.
Awesome. I do. I would like to, I want to attack him. I want to get close to him and I want to attack him.
All right. You run up on him and you attack.
The first attack is going to be a 16 to hit.
That is a hit.
Nice. So that is 11 points of damage.
All right.
And then do I get my other one because I had to stand up?
Yeah, movement is just movement.
Okay,
You still get your attacks.
sorry. Yep.
Nope, no worries.
The second one is an 18 to hit.
An 18 to hit? Yeah.
Yeah. And that is 13 points of damage.
Are you adding your rage bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm learning the rules of the game. Here we go.
You take these 2 quick attacks, slicing into his thick ogre hide, and you see blood running down, and he looks down for a moment, and for just a moment you see those big those big innocent looking eyes of little one just go
Oh.
oh
Oh my god! Teera goes so quickly from pity to terror. It is remarkable.
and he's going to attempt to chain smash you.
Yikes. That does not sound good. I don't know what that entails, but it doesn't sound good.
That is a dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
As this chain smash comes the full weight of the chain just comes flying down at you. You take 17 points, knocked down to 8 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oof. Okay. Con save is 13. Maybe.
The chain comes flying down, smacks you into, like, it hits you across the head and shoulders. You see stars, and you fall unconscious.
No! Wow, that was fast. You know what? If it had to happen, which I'm sure it eventually would have, I'm glad it was little one. I'm glad it was him.
So little one wins another 50 gold.
And I'm glad I made it one round more than Born. Screw you, Ricky.
Gary and Jordan, grab d20s.
Yeah.
And I would like you to do Rolos 3 times. We're going to roll off and see who has the higher number.
19.
He has higher.
All right, that's one for Rising Tide.
20.
He has higher.
All right, and finally,
20.
11.
you rolled a 20?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so that's going to go to another round
Okay.
because you rolled a crit.
Another 20.
I rolled a crit.
Wait, when did you roll a crit?
Yeah.
I rolled 19 and then 20.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, you both rolled 20 in the second round?
No, I rolled on the
the
third,
third
a
round.
20.
Okay.
I rolled it on the second round. Jake.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay. Well, that's what I get for trying to run these
then-
these normally in games where the AI takes over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
right. We just get to watch.
And then
So-
fourth round was another 20, if that matters.
Well, no, because I missed the first 20
Yeah.
from Rising Tide. Rising Tide's gonna win that one.
Woohoo!
Nice.
All right, for the final bout, it's gonna be Gary versus Cari. Cari, you're rolling for little one.
Nice.
Um,
Thank God.
This time, just to make it a little more interesting, since it's the last one, Gary, you will be adding +6 to your die rolls, and Cari, you will be adding also +6.
Oh wow, pretty interesting.
It
Let's
equals
go.
out.
Well-
One's dex and one's strength.
8.
Okay. 7.
Oh!
Okay, so the
It's a
first
nat
round,
one. if
first
it
round
matters.
goes
Nat
to
2.
Oh,
first round
wow.
goes to Rising Tide.
Damn, that's in. I just imagine it's like, really.
14.
The next one is 14.
All right, roll it off.
13.
11.
Oh!
Second round goes to Rising
wow.
Tide.
Wow.
Third
Jeez
round.
Louises.
19.
25.
Oh!
That you won that round, but you still lost 2 rounds. Rising Tide is the champion of
Wow.
Wow. Rising Tide.
of
Let's go.
this first bracket. So,
Pirate Cat effing wins.
yep.
Yeah.
Pirate Cat beat Little One. And I would say you would also notice in between it's kind of like Black Widow calming down the Hulk, getting close to Little One and putting in fact, Irony is the only one Little One will let get close as they put the headband back on him. So the last thing that we'll cover in our sort of downtime activities section is a couple of loose ends that need to be dealt with. One, Carol would have, like, 4 days early, Teera, Carol would have told you, sent a runner, one of the apprentices, to come get you, that your sword was ready. In fact, he would have actually had them deliver it to you, all wrapped up in wrapped in burlap with rope kind of tied around it. It is completely covered, or repaired rather, and the individual tells you, where'd they go? I wrote these down after last. Sarda is the dwarf who brings it to you and says, that's all square. You don't know anything on it.
What do you mean? We said 6.5.
I don't know what you said, but Carol said to tell you it's been paid for.
Well, who paid for it? Wasn't me.
Look, all I do is I make daggers, I polish armor, and I deliver swords, apparently.
An insight check.
Okay.
That's a nat 1. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling the truth. I mean, if you want to pay me 6.5 gold, I'll take it from you, but as far as Carol's concerned, the sword's paid for.
Huh. And he didn't give you any kind of a word to carry with this sword.
Just that it's all fixed.
And I kind of like peel back a little of the burlap and like look, and I can already tell that the spot that was messed up is not messed up anymore. And I'm just like, huh. Well, he's right on that. I'll tell him thank you, I guess.
Right, will do.
Hmm.
So you have your sword back, and
Boy, it's a good thing I got this. I got a big fight with Little One coming up. I hope it goes well.
a couple days later, Assyria, you would know that. Well, actually, to touch on something from before,
Sure.
if you were looking to have armor made,
Yes.
it would take several days,
Fine.
and it would cost 65 gold for
Can I
studded
put-
leather armor that's custom made to fit a wolf.
Can I put a down payment down?
Can I pay an installment?
I have 48 gold, so I could pay off over half.
Excellent. And when you pay the rest, you can have the armor.
Fuck. Okay. Wonderful.
Actually-
thanks.
I have to
No,
check
it's
the
all
numbers
good.
again, but you guys are going to get another paycheck.
Hey, we're on retainer.
You, because I have to check the dates on everything,
Yeah.
and I'll get back with you, but you would each get close to 30 gold.
Then here you go. Take it.
So,
Nice.
all right,
Amazing.
I will get back with you on what Soren's new AC is with the armor.
Wonderful.
Phenomenal.
I'll have.
And because it's studded leather, it's not going to affect his stealth.
Wonderful.
Um,
I'll take that.
but the other thing is, when you're paying that off and you go to pick up your sword, Carol says, "I need to talk to you about this sword. I fixed the great sword of your friend. It was, I just realized the music is the wrong music. I'm like, why is this so
whoa,
intense?
This is so intense.
Like, yeah!
Bye.
Secrets! Sorry.
Hey.
I'm vibing with it, but I
I know. I was
wouldn't
like,
mind
whoa, this is some Spy
sampling
Kids
one
stuff.
more track. Ooh.
Says,
Oh boy.
there's something. I was able to fix your friend's great sword, no problem. Really, I could have let one of the apprentices do it. It would have taken 3 times as long, but it was easy work to do. And on the surface, your sword is easy to fix. But there's something peculiar about it. If you look here, and he indicates where the acid sort of dissolved away the blade. Look closely at this. And he hands you it looks like a much less fancy, like a very crude version of Vorn's goggles.
Uh-huh.
And you can see there's like a little armature that sticks up with several discs. And he kind of helps you put this on, and then he kind of flips a couple discs down. And in the one eye, everything gets really blurry. He goes, lean in close to the blade. And
All right.
as you lean down, it comes into focus, and you can see the steel, and you see the rotted, corrupted metal all around. But in the center of these areas where the acid ate away at the metal, you see pinpoints of almost white silver. And
Oh.
Carol says, I don't deal in... I don't have experience or knowledge dealing in weapons or armor or any items really that have any kind of magical enhancements on them. This is peculiar because while I was preparing the surface for retreatment, it's almost as if the sword that you see here
Right.
is obscuring a different sword underneath. There's something here, and I don't know what it is. In order, the best thing you can do is take this to great reader Telesavoste. She specializes in magical artifacts, unique items. It's her area of study.
Right.
She may be able to tell you something more about it. But there's something more than meets the eye with this sword. And at this point, I'm afraid to touch it. For fear... Well, if I'm being honest, I don't know if it's going to blow up on me or turn me into a frog.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you. Sorry about that. I wasn't aware of that cut within the blade.
If I'm being honest with you, I don't think anybody could be aware of it. If you hadn't hit that ooze with it, you wouldn't have compromised the outer aspects of it. Whatever magic is inside this was completely obscured by the plainness, if you'll forgive, I mean no insult to this fine weapon, but it was completely obscured by that.
Sensing a theme here. She'll kind of shake her head. Right. Thank you. I'll take that back. I do apologize for the trouble.
It's no trouble at all. It's it's intriguing to say the least.
Right.
But if you don't mind, I'd be real curious to see what you find out, if you find anything. And
both.
here, this is yours. And he hands you 10 gold pieces.
She'll take 5.
But it's all yours.
No.
I only charged you for the blade of your friend.
Take the 5 for your continued silence, and she just might come asking who fixed the sword, and about the peculiarity for this and the trouble for you having to shift around your orders to fit this.
He
so
looks at you and he just kind of goes like this, and then he says, "Right, well, like I said,
right.
the armor's all paid up, the sword's all paid up, and we're good to go.
Wonderful.
If you need anything else done, don't hesitate to come to Carol."
Perfect. Thank you. And Assyria will very carefully put the blade back in its proper place and head out.
And where are you going from there?
She's gonna head to Telavoste
Okay.
immediately.
All right. So you also have access at this point. You would have gotten your permission letter and everything to get into the main library. And you are in fact, I would say Irony would be the one to sort of lead you to their offices.
Mhm.
And when you get up into one of the buildings, and go through the halls and into where there's really elegant office spaces and study spaces, Irony knocks lightly on a door, and you hear Telesavoste's voice. "Ah, yes, come in." And as you enter, she says, "Thank you, Irony," and looks at you. "Ah, Assyria, I was hoping to speak with you and your friends. It seems we have your next job." And as the camera sort of shifts, we see that in the office with Telesavaste is another person. There is a dwarven woman with reddish hair. And she says, Assyria Resha, this is Manistrad Copperlocks. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Holy shit!
Dwight and Ricky picked the wrong night to be gone.
Oh my
We've literally
God.
been messaging
It was
each other
like-
that.
Boom, boom, boom,
Fuck.
boom, boom.
So-
One thing after another.
So before we head out of here, I want to say a couple things without revealing too much, but there are certain things as a DM that I have put into play, we'll say, and there are things that you may never uncover, and there are things that it's entirely about when and if you do uncover the thing.
Mhm.
I could never have planned for, some of these things. The only thing, in fact, that I really planned for
Fight Club.
was Fight Club.
Fight Club.
And not knowing when you're.
Holy
How was I going to know you were gonna fight oozes in a random encounter and then attack them with your heirloom swords and have damage and so all this, I just love seeing how and when these things unfold. We
Mhm.
talked about the Soren Thadrid reveal, and I am going to award a point of inspiration, in particular tonight, to Gary.
Yes.
Because
100%.
that was
Dude.
incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
The most we've
dialogue.
ever seen Doc open up is with a ghost dragon in the bowels of Candlekeep. But I really liked that exchange between Miram and Doc, and I liked all of the stuff that
Yeah.
happened tonight. It was a lot of fun.
So good. It was so
But yeah, we are officially into book 4,
rough.
A Deep and Creeping Darkness. And wow, you hit level 5 and it's like you just unlocked the next tier of lore drops, apparently. all
Yeah,
in
oh
tonight's
my
session.
God. Like, here's this thing, here's this thing, here's this other thing. Like, it's wow. Wow.
Yeah, and Teera and Vorn are
much.
over here getting into fights and getting
Yeah.
knocked out.
Teera is not interested in the library at all. She still doesn't have her fucking token. She's just fighting and eating and drinking.
I mean, hey, that's
You know what?
You
Your
do you,
process-
girl.
yeah,
It's a
there's
simple
nothing wrong
life.
with
I'm-
Thank you, Gary.
it. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
So with that, Jordan,
Yes.
can you tell me who we're gonna raid? If you don't
Sure.
mind. And then thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. We always appreciate having all of you join us, and we hope you enjoyed. Also, I think I missed Smokebeard's sub.
You also have to change 25 to 30.
Why is
You
that?
increased because you increased the total. You took away the 5 tomes and gave us the 1, but didn't change 25 to
You
30.
didn't change it to 30. I saw that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. As you say that, I remembered I took away the 5 and I think I put it right back.
Mm-hmm.
That's because that's what happens when you try to do this stuff while you're narrating a scene.
Oh, good. That's why
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean the we need the Teera tomes to make sure that Teera can power her role play, right?
Listen here, I was not going to do it. Jordan bullied me. And so
I did not.
there were a lot of capital letters in the chat. And that's all
Listen.
I'm going to say.
All I know-
I'm expressive. That
all
doesn't
I
mean I'm
know-
bullying.
Is that the TTs are here to stay.
Teardomes. Teardomes.
TTs are here to
We
stay.
could change those to blue to match the theme. Great.
Listen.
So, so thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight, and we appreciate the subs and the bits and the gift subs and all that stuff. I think we're gonna raid Lonzo Gonzo here in a moment. So tentatively, because we never know for sure until game time, over on Dice on Ice RPG tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be playing Curse of Strahd, where I play
Yeehaw!
Eli Lancaster. And Thursday will be the Dawnbringers. So be sure to tune in for that. Hey, listen, if you are one of those people that lurks quietly in the background and you don't participate in chat, but you just listen or watch along, thank you. We appreciate you all the same. We hope you enjoy our games as well. And of course, I have to say a huge thank you, as always, to my absolutely amazing players, Gary, Jordan, and Cari. And even though they're not here, we'll throw props to Dwight and Ricky, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple of hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You could say it with me if you want.
Mizya.